Every year, Apple does their best to let you know how the iPhone is thoughtfully and carefully designed. They show off the design from different angles to make sure it's all perfectly lit and looking its best. And what do? You either put a case on it and hide the work that the Apple design team has put so much time and effort into, or you go caseless and risk your phone looking like this. What if there was an in-between that gave you the feeling of having no case while still offering some protection for your phone? For the last week or so, I've been using only a dbrand skin and screen protector, and in this video, I'm going to tell you what it's been like, the pros and the cons, how protective it's been, and if it's something that you should do. For disclosure, I reached out to dbrand, who did generously send me the skin and screen protector you'll see in this video. This video isn't sponsored, and there's no preview sent to dbrand before this has gone live. Let's get it started. This is the Something Dark skin, which basically makes my iPhone look like a nothing phone. I think this design is pretty cool. If you're getting a skin from dbrand, as of today, they have around 44 different options to choose from. You could probably get away with saying that there's something for everyone. Depending on the design you choose, it could have a matte texture, a glossy texture, or a combo of both. One of the major perks of using a skin on your phone is that you don't need to worry so much about the design of what's going on your phone. With a case, you need to consider things like the material, the level of drop protection, are the buttons good, does it offer my screen protection, my camera protection, how much does it weigh, is the MagSafe good? Honestly, the list just kind of goes on and on. With the skin, it's do I like the feeling of my bare iPhone in my hand? And then choosing what pattern and coverage level you would like. On the sticky side of the skin is a pattern that helps it to stick well to surfaces that might be a little more slick, like the matte frosted back of the iPhone 16 Pro. If you do want to remove the skin, it will come off and not leave any residue on your phone. As far as how well it sticks, a smaller surface area will be a little easier to take off, while a larger surface does stick a lot better. I've also found that the skin is better stuck on after using the phone for a few days. In the Essential Skin Pack, I received a full coverage skin which wraps around the back and sides of the phone, and a simple skin that just covers the back, as well as a cloth to help with the installation. Putting the skin on wasn't too bad. I started off with the full coverage skin, which does take more time and patience, since it requires the usage of a hairdryer to get everything lined up. All in all, it took me around 15 to 20 minutes at most, with a decent amount of referencing the instructional video to make sure that I was doing everything right. Here's the finished look. This totally transforms the appearance of your phone, and like I mentioned, since you've got over 40 designs to choose from, there's a good chance your phone will stand out next to everyone else's. The screen protector installation was easy. There were a few bubbles I had to rub out using the included tool. The end result of having a skin installed is pretty fun, and like I said, totally transforms the look of your phone. I would have loved to keep my phone looking like this, but I did mix up the steps here. The screen protector should have gone on first. With the full coverage skin, your phone can fit into the screen protector tray, but the tray does push against the skin and does damage it. I massaged it to try and save it, and it kind of worked, but in the end, I decided to just remove it and install the simple skin. When I did start using this setup, it took a bit of getting used to. Part of that is because with this setup, the phone just feels smaller in your hand. Not that the cases I usually use are that big, but it's a noticeable difference. One thing I really appreciated was just the full access to all the buttons on the phone. I don't have to deal with the question of like, how good are the buttons? Does it have a camera control cover? Is it a cutout? If using the camera control button is something that you do, it's out here in the open for you to swipe around and use just how Apple intended you to use it. It's a similar feeling with the charging port. You don't have to think about if cables are too big. You can just use whatever you want. After a week and a bit of use, I'm sure you're frothing with curiosity to see how this setup has held up. For starters, know that I haven't dropped my phone this whole time. I've been putting my case down how I normally would with a case on it, on all types of surfaces, and it seems to have held up pretty well. If you're someone who's putting your phone down on a surface that's sharp or abrasive, that's going to have an increased chance of leaving small marks or wearing the skin, or your phone for that matter. But even if I give a little push on the skin with my nail, you can see that it doesn't really stay dented and kind of bounces back. I've been using hand lotions and sunscreens over the last little bit, and those haven't made much of a difference to the condition of the skin. You can just wipe it with a cloth or on your pants or shirt to clean it and have it looking basically as good as new. As far as pros go, the biggest one for me is that I'm basically using my phone without a case, so I'm able to enjoy how slim and thin it is. This has actually kind of made me consider if I can go up to a bigger size phone in the future. With the skin on, I'm also not concerned about scratching up the back of my phone at all. And thinking ahead to the future, when it comes time to sell my phone, I know I can just peel the skin off and my phone will look as good as new underneath. Plus, like I'd mentioned before, this gives my phone a super unique look, which is much different from a generic black case or a clear case that may or may not yellow. I feel like the cons are pretty obvious, but let's talk about them. The biggest one is that this setup does not have as much drop protection as having a case, but it is definitely better than just having a bare phone. Depending on how severe the drop is, it could cause permanent damage to the skin. though you can see from my mistake installing the screen protector that the skin is pretty resilient. The last thing I'll mention is that there's a slight weakening in the MagSafe strength if you're using a matte skin like this. So is this something I would keep on my phone long term, and is this something that you should consider? For myself, if I wasn't switching between cases all the time because of the content that I create, I would 100% be using a setup like this. I do have to keep in mind that I have Apple Care Plus, so if I do get any significant damage to my phone that a screen protector or skin won't prevent, then I can pay Apple a small deductible and have them repair my phone back to as good as new. Using my phone like this for a week has definitely given me confidence that using a phone without a case is not as scary as I thought. Plus, I do really like how compact my phone feels and how easily it slips into my pockets and slings. Now, what should you do? If your friends would call you Captain Butterfingers because you drop your phone a lot and not just because you like the chocolate bars, then I would stick to phone cases. If you've been tempted to go caseless with your phone, but you feel a little nervous about it still, I think this is a good option to help bridge that gap between case and no case, or to just have that no case feel and protect your phone for a resale value. I hope you found this interesting. If you want to grab a skin and/or screen protector to give this a shot for yourself, consider using the link I'll put in the description because it helps support me as a creator at no extra cost to you. Thanks for spending your time with me. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you again.